Today we're going to talk about the most brutalist dictator in this entire universe that has ever transpired.
Hitler.
They did something called the Night of the Long Knives. So everybody who was against Hitler, they were murdered. Everybody.
And how did the Holocaust end?
Holocaust, one of the most tragic things that happened to humankind. They tie the arms to restrict the blood flow. Then they take a lot of blood from the right arm and it give minimum five injections in the right arm.
The gas chamber was inside the concentration camp.
गैस चेम्बर में जो हुआ था, there literally नाखून के निशान, there's literally nail prints on the wall. When they were running out of soldiers, what did the German government do? 12 साल के बच्चे लोग को भेज रहे हैं in front of Soviet troops. Kids were losing their lives.
So what was the equation?
हिटलर के लिए बहुत सारे चीज ट्रॉमेटिक थे. Firstly, पहले से ही his father was abusive, so that's the first pointer. Second pointer is when पूरा उस पे ही पड़ गया when his brother left, and the third pointer I'll get into it. So fast forward to 1907, Hitler is supporting the mayor of Vienna. Now Karl Lueger is one of the most important things. जब भी कुछ बुरा होता था, he would just say that just Jews. See, Germany's economic situation was so bad that $1 was equal to 4.2 trillion German marks.
Which is called as hyperinflation. What is the story behind the sign or the logo of Nazi party?
So basically Swastika जो है, he got married in the Fuhrer bunker when the World War II was literally going on. You're having a wedding celebration inside the bunker.
Wow.
And just 40 hours after he got married, he committed by gunshot and his wife committed suicide by drinking cyanide. This is an interesting story that I'm going to say ahead. A British soldier, he raises the gun. He sees that the soldier is wounded and so he lowers the gun कि मैं कोई wounded soldier को नहीं मारूंगा. The soldier nods at him in thanks and then walks away. See, there's a rumor that this German soldier was actually Adolf Hitler.
He might have been killed at that point of time और इतना कुछ होता ही नहीं.
Probably Earth wanted us to not make the same mistakes, so she made Hitler survive, and then Hitler made those mistakes so that we could learn from it.
Hello. Welcome back to Just Kidding with Sid.
Today we're going to talk about the most brutalist dictator in this entire universe that has ever transpired.
Hitler. But what would happen if a 9-year-old girl comes up and tells us what is the psychology and the mentality of the genius or the ruthless evil that is Hitler? So today, one by one, in the simplest way, understand who Hitler was and what he did to create an impact across the nations within 60 minutes with the help of none other than Paridhi. Welcome to the new studio.
Yep, it's my first. Did you shoot any podcasts?
Yeah, I did one only,
Which one?
but in this setup.
Which
So
one?
we did one with the who? We did one on Maharana Pratap
Oh,
with Ashman.
oh.
Remember Ashman?
Yes, I do. I definitely do.
So we shot that video with him, and but apart from that, I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of the heights that you're reaching. You're getting recognized by so many people, and thanks to you, the children who work with us, the children who talk to us, the parents who talk to us, they are very proud that there is someone who set the benchmark for when it comes to Indian history, mythological realms of education, and everything that you taught us in your storytelling manner. So then we started talking, having a chat with your mom and dad. And your mom and dad said, यार कुछ अलग करते हैं इस बार. मैंने सोचा यार कितना अलग करते हैं. इतना अलग करते हैं जिस पे तुम्हें और मुझे मिलके मज़ा आए एंड विल अंडरस्टैंड, बिकॉज दिस इज समथिंग दैट यू बीन टेलिंग मी कि हमें इस इंसान के बारे में तो बात करनी ही है.
Yes.
Because I am also a curious head when it comes to this person, and that is Hitler. A lot of stories, a lot of things, but let's create a framework for this discussion. Firstly, we'll talk about who Hitler was, what was his childhood like. उसके बाद when he was growing up, what were his childhood traumas that shaped him across his existence. Then we'll slowly get into him getting involved in politics, him getting involved in World War One, and then two, and then how did his ultimate end happen, and what happened when he was not a part of this history anymore. Cool. So let's get started, and you tell us to all the people who are watching who Hitler was, where was he born, and how was he like.
Firstly, I want to talk about his parents because I don't think we should start talking about Hitler without talking about the people who very birthed him. So let's rewind. Now, his father, Alois Schicklgruber, yes, Schicklgruber, not Hitler, had actually changed his last name to that of his stepfathers, matlab Hitler's step-grandfathers. Hitler. So his Alois's stepfather's name is Hitler.
Okay.
That means the very name that we know him by is not his. So Alois Schicklgruber, I'm going to say Schicklgruber, not Hitler, because there's going to be another Alois as we go ahead. Alois Schicklgruber had 3 wives. Yes, 3 wives. One was a very rich older lady named Anna Glassel. The second was his mistress and then later wife, Franziska Matzelberger. Okay. Then the third one was Hitler's mother, Adolf's mother. That is Clara Hitler. So Clara is basically Alois's second cousin and they got married. But before they got married, the second wife, Franziska, gave Alois 2 children, Alois Hitler Jr. and Angela Hitler.
Okay.
Then Clara gave him 3 children who all tragically died in infancy. Then came the 4th child who Clara spoiled and pampered a lot. That child was Hitler. Now, after him, 2 more kids were born and the family moved around 5 times. Now let's talk about Hitler's birth. Hitler was born Adolphus Hitler on April 20, 1889 in Brunau am Inn, which is a part of Austria-Hungary. Austrian part of the empire, not the other part. Austria-Hungary, the very edge of Austria-Hungary, जहाँ पे Austria-Hungary और German Empire का border बनता है, उस area पे. And when Hitler grows up, like when he's born now, already his brother, उसका जो brother है, the older brother, Alois Hitler, उसको पहले से पता है that Hitler's father is very abusive, very strict.
Yeah.
And Hitler पे इतना ज़्यादा होता नहीं है, like nothing very much falls onto Hitler.
Yeah.
Until Alois Hitler Jr., who was fed up of his father, Alois Schicklgruber's abuse, left and ran away at the age of 14, leaving 7-year-old Adolf to do everything.
Okay.
And every जो भी था हिटलर पे पड़ा. Basically हिटलर इतना fed up हो गया था, but he didn't want to run away like his brother.
But what was the equation? Like, was his father abusive towards his wife also?
I have no idea. I only know about Hitler so
Okay.
far. But his mother, on the other hand, his mother pampered Hitler a lot. I mean, obviously, because this was traumatic for her to lose 3 children, and then Hitler was born. So she pampered Hitler a lot, which grew कि Hitler loved his mother more than his father. And see, हिटलर के लिए बहुत सारे चीज़ ट्रॉमेटिक थे. Firstly, पहले से ही his father was abusive, so that's the first pointer. Second pointer is when पूरा उस पे ही पड़ गया when his brother left, and the third pointer I'll get into it.
Okay.
So 1900. Okay, we're in the 1900 now. The year
And he was born in which year?
1889.
Okay.
So in the 1900s, his brother, his younger brother, Edmund Hitler died of measles. When जो his भाई था, he was only 6 and he died of measles. तो हिटलर पूरी तरीके से चेंज हो गया.
Did he love his brother a lot?
He was very
I
attached
think
to
that
his
is why.
brother.
That is a big part of his
हाँ
childhood trauma.
हाँ. So there was जो एडमंड हिटलर था, he was buried बस घर के opposite cemetery में.
हाँ.
So एकदम strange behavior शुरू हो गए थे हिटलर के. He talked to trees. He lied down on the cemetery wall and stared at the stars. And उसका father से तो attachment था ही नहीं actually. See, whatever his father did, उसका opposite ही करता था वो. Whatever his father did. And since his father was a mid-level pro-Austrian person, he loved Germany a lot. He started getting more into German nationalism, not patriotism. Nationalism.
Before you go ahead, what is the difference between patriotism and nationalism?
Patriotism is when you love your country but you recognize the good and the bad. But nationalism is when you're like, नहीं मुझे बुरी बात कोई नहीं सुनना है, my country is the best.
You're an extremist.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and then Hitler was very angry now. And his father was so pushy because he wanted his son to be just like him. And since Adolf अभी eldest son है, not daughter, eldest son है, all the things will go on him only.
Right.
Since he's the only son left now. So Adolf ने ना, कोई लोग बोलते हैं कि एडोल्फ ने पर्पसली टेस्ट फेल किया कि दिखाने के लिए कि भाई ये मेरा एक्सपर्टीज नहीं है. And he was more into art and drawing.
Yeah.
Which leads us to school trauma, which is technically still childhood trauma.
Right.
His school trauma is because he got bullied a lot, tormented a lot in school. And it also didn't help that he had just entered high school. Because the cool city boys and this, that, they treated him like a rural peasant. Like emphasis on the word. And when he was about to pass, his father passed away.
Okay.
Not that kind of pass, but his father passed away. And
But why was he bullied? What was the reason?
Because he was rural. That's why. कोई लोग बोलते हैं he might not be rural, but some people say he was rural.
Right.
Rural.
I heard it had a lot to do with his family background itself. Yeah.
Because he was poor. That's why.
Yeah.
So after his father died, he had just about graduated high school. There's a funny story behind it, but I don't want to say it. So Hitler decides to go to Vienna to art school. And his mother, जो है, he said a very sad goodbye to her. And when he was 18, he left for Vienna. उधर art school में he failed. So he went back home. And his mother was very sick.
Okay.
And then वो वापस Vienna गया after she passed away. Then he went from Vienna to Munich. And let's end the story here. उसके आगे कुछ स्कूल नहीं था उसका. That's why. So,
But did he have any idols when he was growing up?
in Vienna.
Okay.
Vienna. So fast forward to 1907.
The art school.
Not the art school. After his... when he was in Vienna. Just when he was in Vienna.
Okay.
So Hitler is supporting the mayor of Vienna.
Okay.
His name was Karl Lueger. Now Karl Lueger is one of the most important things जिनके वजह से वो anti-Semitic things हिटलर के दिमाग में मोल्ड होने लगे.
Okay. Let's break down what is anti-Semitism in a nutshell. क्या होता है?
So anti-Semitism is basically when you have hatred
Okay.
or anger towards the Jews, particularly the Jews,
Okay.
nothing else, just Jews.
Okay.
So the जो mayor था, he was very anti-Semitic, and जब भी कुछ बुरा होता था, he would just say that just Jews, 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 Jews. Hitler basically को scapegoat मिल गया था कि
हाँ.
मेरा बुरा चीज it's just happening because of the Jews.
Right.
But I want to say one thing. I forgot to mention it at the start of the podcast, but I was supposed to say it at the start of the podcast. That is a chota disclaimer. If I say anything wrong, I'm still in my learning phase, and I don't want anyone to get offended.
Okay.
Because I really don't want anyone to get offended.
As long as I am not offended, it's all okay. He's growing up. We see that his mother had groomed him. She had loved him. But at the same time, after she was sick, he lost her. Then after losing the most important person in your life, I think he had very few people to look forward to, right? So as he was growing up, slowly towards his young age, he was learning more about nationalism in a way and anti-Semitism. Two most, central things to this entire conversation,
Yes,
because this is
yes.
going to change the entire dimension now.
Yes.
Now we are here, he's learning about both of these things. He's getting obsessed, if you highlight it. He's getting obsessed with these narratives. Then how did the love for country arise, and was he involved in the World War I phase?
Yes, he was. I mean, uska German nationalist, like I mentioned, uska jo bhi whatever his father did, he just went against it.
Yeah.
Like his father was pro-Austrian officer, failed the test purposely कि मेरा नहीं है ये expertise.
Yeah.
So his after losing his mother, even the family doctor said that he had never seen somebody so overwhelmed as Hitler was. That's very new when it comes to Hitler.
Yeah.
So, and World War I, there are many incidents that happened. See, let's go back to where I ended the story.
Okay.
Hitler is in Munich.
Okay.
And it's 1940.
He was in Vienna. Vienna से फिर वो म्यूनिक चला गया.
हाँ,
ठीक है.
Munich गया.
Okay.
So, news of World War I has spread. World War I declare हुआ. Let's learn more about that because I don't want.
Yeah, that is very important.
हाँ.
Yeah.
See, going back to the time, back, the Franco-German War first. France loses. And then later onwards, धीरे धीरे करके, both countries start making alliances. The Germans make an alliance with Italy and with Austria-Hungary. These three, remember the alliance names.
Mm-hmm.
These three are known as the Triplice or the Triple Alliance.
Yeah. Germans, Austria,
Hungary,
and
Italy.
Three countries made an alliance.
And then France also makes alliances. France starts with Russia.
Okay.
And these two are already alliances, okay?
Okay.
And it makes a secret non-aggression pact with Italy, which is going to be very crucial in forward when we go to the war. And धीरे धीरे करके ब्रिटेन की भी फट गई है, and Britain is like, oh my god, Germans are growing stronger. Britain is scared, and once Britain gets scared, Britain gets so scared that it decides to make an alliance with France. Even though later onwards Indians will make an alliance with Germany.
Okay.
So Britain makes an alliance with France and with Russia. I don't know if they're still allies, Russia and Britain, but I'm pretty sure that Britain and France are still allies today. Okay, so then Balkan regions में Austria-Hungary captures Bosnia and Herzegovina. That's another country.
Okay.
And Serbia is not very happy because Serbia still is dreaming of uniting the South Slav people.
Okay.
Then अरे डेट नहीं याद आ रहा है again. हाँ, I remember the year. हाँ, the year is 1914 and a Serbian nationalist, not from Serbia though, the Serbian nationalist from Bosnia is like, what? They're in Bosnia, okay? We are in Bosnia now. Serbian nationalist from Bosnia murders the heir to the Austrian throne, King Archduke Franz Ferdinand, and his wife in Sarajevo, Bosnia.
Okay.
So now Austria-Hungary is furious, and despite Russia के threats, the Austria-Hungary declares the war the following month. So going back to Hitler, crowds across Europe are celebrating this because only Europe is taking part, Europe and America. But other than that, nobody else is making. So Britain, France और Russia का alliance is known as the Triple Entente. It's French.
Okay.
And so war शुरू हो जाता है. Hitler quickly signs up for the army and he's now a soldier. He's very brave, he's very lucky, and he's getting the Iron Cross. Not that kind of cross, but this cross.
Okay.
Here. And once he got badly injured because he stepped on an artillery shell and then वो hospital में चला गया. And 1918, he came back to war, but he was temporarily blinded by a British gas attack. Okay, this is an interesting story that I'm going to say ahead. It's a story, not a fact. It's a story.
So he was not there for how many years?
2, probably.
2 years. 16,
Probably 2.
17, 18.
Probably.
Okay.
Most probably that, or even in the same year it could have happened. But so अभी Germany retreat हो रहा है. So a British soldier, Lance Henry Tande, getting surnames confused, I don't know why. Lance Henry Tande is in contact, a British soldier, with a German soldier, and he raises the gun. But he sees that the soldier is wounded, and so he lowers the gun कि मैं कोई wounded soldier को नहीं मारूंगा. The soldier nods at him in thanks and then walks away. See, there's a rumor that this German soldier was actually Adolf Hitler.
Okay. There is a rumor, that's why you're telling me that story. And there was this another version to this story was the soldier tried hitting him, but for the first time the gun did not work at that point of time.
And so Hitler ran away.
Yeah. So he was literally freed from the very narrative that he might have been killed at that point of time, और इतना कुछ होता ही नहीं.
Probably Earth wanted us to know
who
that
Hitler was.
नहीं, probably Earth wanted us to not make the same mistakes, so she made Hitler survive, and then Hitler made those mistakes so that we could learn from them. That's a possibility.
That's fascinating. Okay, he gets a chance at life. He's all jacked when it comes to the nationalism that we talk about, because now after World War I he has seen it. He has experienced death right in front of his eyes, and उसके वजह से the love for his nation has just quadrupled now.
Yes.
ठीक है, balloon हो गया प्यार उसका towards nation. And then उसके बाद slowly he started acting on it, acting on his principles and his love for it. तो उसके बाद what happened? Because there was a phase when he was captured and he was sent to the jail. What happened after World War I?
First, we need to know more about the Nazi party itself, because what you're talking about is when he went to prison. Yeah, so that happened after the Nazi party started, and after the Nazi party, the entire economic was सब होने के बाद he went to prison.
Okay, so Germany lost the war, due to which it was all over the places. Unemployment rate has gone up. उसके बाद the very tangent through which people were living, it's damaged. No hope when it comes to retrieval. No right leader to run the nation. everything is just decentralized, no centralization. Germany की क्या हालत
हाँ.
हुई after World War One?
See, Germany is not the only one that lost land. Not lost the war, lost land that in the World War One. Because Germany का थोड़ा land से Poland बन गया. But even Austria-Hungary was dissolved and Soviet Union lost some of their land. So it's not just Germany that's suffering as of now.
Can you explain? A lot of kids are watching. What is Soviet Union? Because right now that is not the term anymore.
That's Russia.
Right. So what is Soviet Union? Can you explain?
So Soviet Union is basically just Russia expand land, and there's a country in Europe, I don't remember the name, but it still declares itself to be part of the Soviet Union. And then, there's a fun fact about Soviet Union. Soviet Union is basically just Russia with more land, and the name was Soviet Union back then. So there's this fun fact about Soviet Union. जब Soviet Union dissolved हुआ, Russia wasn't the last country in Soviet Union,
Yeah.
See, पूरा land dissolved हुआ, Russia left the Soviet Union, but there was still one country left in the Soviet Union. Can you guess what it was? Just guess.
No, I have a lot of guesses.
Okay, guess all of them.
Can I say Ukraine?
No, that's not good.
What was it?
It was Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
So Kazakhstan was the last country left in Soviet Union, not Russia. Okay. So the question is that क्या
Germany's
situation
was land.
See, Germany's situation बिगड़ गई थी, बहुत बिगड़ गई थी. Not just थोड़ा like See, Germany's economic situation was so bad that in 1919, $1 was equal to 4.5 German marks. But by 1923, the economic situation had ruined so much that $1 was equal to 4.2 trillion German marks.
Which is called as hyperinflation. Yeah, that is a term,
Yes.
by the way, hyperinflation.
Haan.
Okay.
So, Germany is poor. See, the cost of bread was 200 billion marks. Imagine that. And it was so bad that everybody in the country just hated government, the democracy, everything was hated by every person in Germany.
Yeah. To all the kids watching, hyperinflation मतलब जो हमारा समझो 1 रुपी है, 1 रुपीज़ का कॉइन है या फिर 10 रुपीज़ का नोट है, उस 10 रुपीज़ का नोट इतना गिर जाता है कि उसकी कुछ वैल्यू नहीं रहती है. इसके लिए उस 10 रुपी को जस्टिफाई करने के लिए हमें हज़ारों 10 रुपी लेके आने पड़ता है. सो इन्फ्लेशन इज़ बेसिकली द सप्लाई डिमांड का जो पूरा ग्राफ है वो मैच नहीं करता. दे आर नॉट गोइंग हैंड इन हैंड एंड the entire economy falls apart in terms of unemployment because there is just because there is no supply, the demand decreases, and that is how the loop happens, which is called as the inflation. For example, India's inflation rate is about 6 to 7% right now, which is in control. But just imagine an inflation rate being 1,000, 2,000. That has happened.
In India?
Not in India.
Achha.
It has happened in a lot of places. I think one was Venezuela. Venezuela का hyperinflation was 12,000-ish कुछ तो था. 12,000% hyperinflation. Can you imagine? So that is hyperinflation for you guys. But yeah, continue.
Crazy, huh? So everybody was like, we hate this democracy जो बना है.
Yeah.
So now let's go back to Hitler. At that time, Hitler was working as an informant for the army after the World War I, sorry. And so it was basically that everybody hated communists and that all.
What is a communists?
See, there are 3 things: communism, socialism, and capitalism. Communism and socialism are basically the same thing. I don't even know what's the difference. But communism and socialism are when... I'll use an example so that nobody gets confused. For example, there's a community of let's say 10 people,
Hmm.
and a person in that community, let's say, gets $100 million. That person has to share that money with everybody, meaning that कोई private profit नहीं होती है. Everybody is equal, which I think is actually good. Why did they
Yeah.
hate that?
Yeah, I mean, like everything has a pro and a con. It's all about how do you maintain the degrees of communism and
Yeah.
capitalism.
हाँ.
I think that is where socialism come. It's a good balance of capitalism, a little bit of capitalism, a little bit of communism. So
And capitalism is basically just the opposite of communism. The everything. Let's use that same example again. The community has 10 people and a person gets $100 million. That person need not share it
yeah.
with everyone. They can just keep it to themselves.
For example, communism is basically a place, a situation of economy where it is mostly led by public organizations.
हाँ,
Whereas capitalism is basically
just the opposite.
private, which is completely dominated
By
and
the-
led by private organizations
And the government.
and the government.
हाँ,
Right. India is a socialist,
हाँ, India is a socialist
which is a good
country.
balance of communism and capitalism.
And capitalism. You know, China and Sri Lanka are also socialist countries. China and Sri Lanka.
I might not agree completely. I mean, like China CCP का तुम्हें full form ही पता है ना?
No.
Chinese Communist Party.
What?
Yeah, China is dominated completely by communism.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh,
Yeah, go on.
थोड़ा confused. हाँ. So communism, क्या बोलते हैं, the government, the Weimar Republic, they didn't want anything to do with communism at all. So they decided कि Hitler को रखते हैं. Hitler will just check out any fishy parties and he will tell us whether they're communist or not. So Hitler got that job. And Hitler sees a new party, the German Workers' Party, or the Deutsche Arbeiterpartei.
Accent, huh?
Deutsche Arbeiterpartei.
Okay.
That sounds kind of funny when you say Arbeiterpartei
Yeah,
instead of
that sounds
Arbeiterparty.
funny when you say it.
Yeah, I know.
Go on.
Even Google Translate says it funny. Although I learned this from Duolingo, not Google Translate. So basically, the German Workers' Party was throwing a bunch of red flags. So Hitler went to check it out.
Yeah.
And he saw that they were just the same as him, extreme ideology and everything. And so he left the army and he signed up to join the German Workers' Party.
Got it.
And उसके passionate speaking की वजह से he very quickly rested the top and he became the new leader. And then the Nazi party, they were just like any other right-wing parties. They were extreme. They had the Aryan beliefs and that all. But yeah, that's basically it. And then the economic crash, वो सब होता है. वो जो USA, they give us some money as loan. Then the Wall Street crash happens. And the Great Depression, which is known as unemployment's peak. And Hitler USA wants its money back. And yeah, Germany पहले से ही war के aftermath, like for example, this is Germany. I am Germany, for example, at that time. And then there's a small boulder and I'm not able to carry it. But then somebody throws a very big boulder and then I'm crushed. That's exactly what was Germany's condition at that time. And so Hitler thinks that this is the best and at the same time stupidest time to lead a revolution. So revolution karta, he marched on the streets of Munich like hoping the police would join his side. They did not. Pew pew. Pew pew pew. So basically, so Hitler is trialed and he is sent to lifetime in prison. And by lifetime I mean just 5 years, and by 5 years I just mean 9 months. And when I say prison, it was more like a pleasant hotel stay. No, it was not. prison is horrifying. I won't say it's a pleasant hotel stay for
Yeah.
anyone, even Hitler.
Yeah.
So Hitler wrote his book, not Mein Kampf, Man Kampf, meaning my struggle. What do you mean by struggle? I think Hitler didn't struggle except for in the war when he got twice injured, and his abusiveness, not his abusiveness, his father's abusiveness.
Before you go ahead, like let's highlight के आई थिंक तुमने बीच में बोला जो जर्मनी को लोन दिया, लाइक लोन देना पड़ता था यूएस को,
Only US,
by
nothing
to
else.
US. So US, Germany had a lot of billions of dollars to pay to US.
Yeah, not just the US, all the allies.
Yeah.
And the French were not at all happy about this. So they occupied the Ruhr. The Ruhr or Ruhr, I don't know how to pronounce it. But it's basically just spelled R-U-H-R. And so, उधर बहुत सारे Germans kill हुए. They were, it was basically just chaotic over there.
Right.
And the Germans weren't very happy about this either. So Hitler thought that this was the best time to lead a revolution, and he landed in prison. But the reason why he got out in 9 months is because by the time he was in prison, there was no chance of anyone leading a revolution because the democracy had grown fairly better. That's why.
Okay. So he was in the prison and he wrote Mein Kampf. What was written in that book?
It was just his thoughts. And one of the things, no, it's not one of the things he wrote, but basically his जो उसके Jewish के thoughts है, whatever his thoughts are about Nazis, and yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Basically it.
Got it. So he wrote Mein Kampf, in which he documented his entire journey as of now, because his journey after that is something which is worth writing about.
Yes.
He wrote that he got out in which year?
He just got out in 9 months.
In 9 months.
Yeah.
Okay. तो बाहर निकल गया. उसके बाद then he is back to Germany.
He is in Germany.
In Germany only.
Yeah.
He's in Germany. So where in Germany he is right now?
Munich.
तो म्यूनिक में है वो. What happened after he's out of the prison?
He just started rebuilding the Nazi party, and the people were really happy because they liked the Nazi party. धीरे धीरे करके नाची का वो बढ़ने लग गया elections में vote, and then they had the highest rank. Okay, now Hitler thinks कि I should run for president. This is good.
Yeah.
But turns out he just got 36%. Sad.
Okay.
I mean, happy for us, not for them.
Okay. So who was against him? Do you know?
President von Hindenburg, even I have no idea,
Right.
but yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And Hitler's failed, decides his plan B is become chancellor,
Okay.
and president is not at all ready. He's very hesitant because of how Hitler's impassioned speeches and everything like that, his anti-Semitic thoughts and everything like that. So that's basically what restrains him. So von Papen decides to tells Hitler that I'll try to convince him, and then he tells president, how about we make Hitler chancellor on the condition I get to be vice chancellor, and all moderate all things go to us moderate conservatives. Then on the condition that I get to keep my power, I mean, we get to keep our power, and then we'll control him like he's our angry little puppet. What could possibly go wrong?
Okay.
Turns out, everything. So Hitler became chancellor in January 1933. A month after which, the Parliament House committed arson. The Parliament House was completely on fire. I don't know why I'm laughing.
Okay.
But the Parliament House was completely on fire, and Hitler was like, communists did it while holding a oil tanker in his hand. No, he didn't do that. I'm just kidding about that.
When you mean communists, who?
Like the communists on the streets. See, when Hitler had the Nazi party, he had made something called the Stormtroopers or the
Okay.
Storm Detachment,
Uh-huh.
SA for short. And those were his क्या बोलते हैं mini army. Since the army had to be reduced after World War One, the basic thought is they will join the SA because SA is just like a bodyguard for Hitler.
Okay.
And that's what SA is. And SA fights with communists on the street. So Hitler blames the communists and he gives the president a क्या बोलते contract कि communists के लिए. And then the president passes away in 1933, and so the passing of the Enabling Act happens.
Okay.
I think I should stop the full stop इधर ही डाल देते हैं.
It's okay. Do you know anything about the Enabling Act?
Yes.
What was it about? Just explain, because
हाँ.
that is a breaking point
Of
which
his-
changed
Which started
everything.
his.
So what was the Enabling Act by Hitler?
I'm just going to say it in simple words, very funny but simple words. So, if Hitler wants ice cream, but the government says that you can only get chocolate ice cream, but Hitler wants vanilla ice cream. So, basically, what Enabling Act does is, once the Enabling Act is passed, Hitler can get any ice cream he wants. So, Hitler can get his vanilla ice cream. I hope you get that ice cream, Hitler. Go.
Okay, vanilla ice cream. Very good example, metaphor, which did not clear the air at all. Now just talk it in the technical terms. What do you exactly
No,
mean?
basically what Enabling Act does is that he can do anything he wants, any law related thing he wants, without the approval of the government or without the need of the without the need of the president's approval and all that. So see, this is where the misunderstanding comes. People think by Enabling Act, after the president died, he became a president. No, he was always chancellor.
He never became the president.
No. That's
He was the chancellor. Chancellor ban gaya, but I also heard that to win the election, he did a lot of nasty things. Hitler.
I didn't go that deep, but
Yeah. So I think he burned a lot of media houses that were printing newspapers against him or writing
No,
anything about him.
I know.
Yeah.
So the SA, the stormtroopers, basically were just tormenting the politicians who were against Hitler. That's not a very good thing to do, but okay. The SA was just I don't think the SA has any fault in whatever happened because they were just basically doing what they had to do, and
Right.
knowing how cruel Hitler is, they had no other choice. So I don't think SA should get any blame, but they should get some blame because it was not good how they treated
Yeah,
people.
yeah. But in a way, like if you are not fighting, rebelling against the evil, then you are also the part of the evil.
Similar.
That is something that we cannot,
Do.
deny. He became the president.
No.
He became the chancellor.
Yeah.
And now it's the time to groom the army, the Sena. So how did he brainwash the entire army? And what were the core principles of his party that were brought upon by others? Or
See,
that were passed on to others?
Hitler, nahi, there is nothing else. Hitler and the party was just copy paste. So there's nothing new that Hitler brought except for the flag, and that actually the German Reich flag, है ना, the one with the 3 stripes, that's black, white, red. That was the previous flag before Hitler came. That's the only change he brought. About the army, SA generally wanted to become the German army once Hitler was truly in power. But the army was not ready to do that. So they did something called the Night of the Long Knives.
Okay.
So everybody who was against Hitler, they were murdered. Everybody. So that's why it's called the Night of the Long Knives. And one guy did absolutely nothing. They just thought he was somebody else. So the army was satisfied कि हमको कोई replace करने नहीं वाला है, and so they decided to serve Hitler all they got. One fun fact about World War II army: when they were running out of soldiers, what did the German government do? World War II, not World War I. World War II, when बर्लिन का जब क्लोज इन हो रहा था, they sent kids as young as 12 to fight. 12 साल के बच्चे लोग को भेज रहे हैं in front of Soviet troops. Can you imagine that? Kids were losing their lives.
Wow. But why? What was the
And
need?
to win the war, that's it. Like, you expect a 12-year-old who knows nothing about holding a gun
Yeah.
to fight against an experienced warrior.
Yeah.
Like, that is, theek hai, you need more soldiers, but at least get experienced people. Like Joseph Goebbels, one of his kya bolte hain, men. Why didn't you send him? Why didn't you send him? Why didn't you send the people who were with you in the Fuhrer bunker? Why, you didn't send them. You sent kids. Like, what if some of them are survivors? What will you do when you're not here?
Yeah.
What will you do when they tell the entire world what you did? Like, that's not a good thing, sending kids to war.
Yeah. I think when a leader is in the dark, he will do anything to hit the target. He will keep on hitting the darts anywhere he wants, ताकि अंधेरे में कहीं ना कहीं बीच में लग जाए. So I think that was the time when Hitler was very vulnerable and he was trying to win the war. But that is, we are far ahead in the story.
Yeah.
Because now that he has gotten the power, he's leading the nation. A lot of changes. Before that, one very interesting thing, which is the swastika thing, the sign. What is the story behind the sign or the logo of Nazi party?
So basically, swastik jo hai, let's go back in time where World
Okay,
War II,
let's go.
World War One. Sorry, not World War II. World War One ended. So Hitler is joining Nazi party. Not Nazi party, sorry, it was not called Nazi party then. There are a few changes he makes. One is a flag, like I mentioned, was the German Reich flag with black, white, red. So he changed it. He wrote in Mein Kampf, I changed the Nazi flag. I made it myself. I designed it myself. It was red on the outside, a white disc, and a black slightly angled swastika. So that's one change he made. Swastik came. There was before Hitler joined the Nazi party, there was a leader who was obsessed with like old symbols, religious symbols, holy symbols. So he dug deeper and he found the swastik. The swastik was one of the Aryan symbols as well. Not just our Lakshmi symbol, it was also an Aryan symbol. So he was like, why not make this the symbol? Because they had the cross. They didn't want to do anything with the Christ who was Jewish before the entire Christian thing happened. So they were like, we need a new symbol. And so that leader got the swastik. जिसके वजह से क्या बोलते हैं, our peace symbol turned into a symbol of dictatorship, which is not good. Because what if an American walks up to you and you invite them to your home and they see that you have this swastik symbol on your temple and they are so disgusted that they leave?
Yeah.
That's not good. Like, okay, maybe it was Aryan, but why don't they cross-check with other things?
Yeah. Because I guess back then copyright laws or even infringement laws were not in the right senses to be replicated. But okay, that's not the most significant thing, because it's not just about what you represent as a leader, but what you do as a leader, which sets a benchmark for others to follow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he became the leader, he became the chancellor, then it's the time to get into action, because now you have an army. How big was his army? Do you know the
No,
specifics?
I am not a violent person. I don't want to know anything about his army.
अरे मेरी भी आर्मी है, तो मैं क्या वायलेंट हूँ क्या?
No, not that kind of army. I mean the soldier pew army.
Yeah, but was he good with weapons himself?
I have no idea. I mean, he was a warrior, a soldier.
Soldier, not warrior. Warrior is a very positive tag which we should not give him.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Let's get into his like personal life, because that will also like give us a lot of insights. Was he married? Did he have any
Yeah.
wives?
Yeah. So basically he had 4 relationships. 4. Not wives, relationships.
Okay.
हाँ. The first relationship, I don't know किस order में हुए थे, but one of the relationships there was a 23-year age gap. Then
Okay.
another one there was a 21-year age gap. And another was 19-year age gap. Wait, I need to calculate his wife and his age gap. That's kind of confusing. But I think it was probably a 13-year age gap. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that's the least amount of age gap. So Hitler and Eva Braun were in a relationship for over a decade.
Okay.
But he still public में नहीं था. It was just in the immediate circle.
Situationship. Huh.
So it was just in the immediate circle.
Huh.
Everything. And basically he just appeared as he's a celibate man, but he's not. He's not. He has a relationship for over a decade, and actually, you know, Eva Braun was his photographer's assistant.
Okay.
So basically वही photography वाले पास जाता था. That's where he met her.
Okay.
Okay, so he got married in the Fuhrer bunker when the World War II was literally going on. You're having a wedding celebration inside the bunker.
Wow.
And just 40 hours after he got married, he committed suicide by gunshot, and his wife committed suicide by drinking cyanide. So they both
Okay.
died together.
They died together.
Yeah.
Is that the right story?
Yes.
Wow.
You know, there's this thing ki all 4 relationships committed suicide. All 4 girls.
Is there any chance he murdered any of those wives?
I don't know.
And Hitler also had another brother called as, or a nephew called William Hitler.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know anything about him?
So let's go back to the first question, which was his childhood. Remember I mentioned a brother, Alois Hitler Jr.
Okay. Yeah.
So he went to, I don't know where he went, but he found a woman named Bridget. They had a son, not children, a son. His name was William Patrick Hitler. So now Hitler, not that Hitler, William is in Britain. Okay. Kabhi he goes to Germany to see his uncle. And later onwards, his uncle is obsessed with trying to get him to join the Nazi party. He doesn't. World War II mein, he goes to America. He escapes to America. And he changes his last name. That's why you can't find anyone named Hitler now. Because Hitler didn't have any children. So the closest thing you will find to a Hitler is the last name Stuart Houston.
Okay.
Because that's what he's changed his last name to. So from William Patrick Hitler, he went to William Patrick Stuart Houston because he didn't want anything to do with his uncle.
And this happened after Hitler died.
No.
He
before.
did this before.
In
Okay.
World War II.
Okay.
So World War II mein, he sends a letter to Roosevelt, who was the I don't know the full form of Roosevelt, but I know his name was Roosevelt.
No.
So Roosevelt को लेटर भेजता है कि I want to join the US Army and I want to fight. Since USA was fighting against Germany, you could say that Hitler's worst enemy was not the communists, not the Jews, but his own nephew. And so his nephew, he fought in the war and Germany lost. Nazis collapsed. So he had 4 children. I don't know if they plotted it amongst themselves, but they said that they will never marry and they will never have children. All 4 of them. That's why Alexander, I don't know if I should say Hitler or Stuart, it's Stuart Houston. It's so hard to say Stuart Houston. Why couldn't he pick us an easier last name?
So that Paridhi can rightly say it in the podcast after 100 years.
I don't want any Stuart Houstons to be offended.
Yeah.
Just because Hitler changed his last name to Stuart Houston. I personally like the last name Stuart Houston, and that's William Hitler.
Okay, amazing. Let's move on to World War II. How did World War II start? Why did it start? And what did Hitler had to do in it?
Actually, the question what did Hitler had to do with it is not a question, because Hitler himself did it. Hitler was like, you need to invade. I don't know if bomb tha or if they invaded Poland. I think they invaded Poland, and that like triggered the World War II. And see, all the countries, यूरोप में ही वर्ल्ड वॉर होता है. I don't know why it's called world war if यूरोप में ही चल रहा है. Oh, I know why it's called world war, because most European countries have colonies. That's a good
ये कट हो जाएगा. ये members only content है. हाँ.
That's a good reason, because Britain के वजह से India was dragged into the war.
Yeah.
See.
Maybe that's why it was colonized.
Oh no. Oh my God. All the European countries, they went to war again. That's no surprise. But I wanted to mention this. But in World War I, even Turkey was fighting for the Triple Alliance.
Okay.
But Turkey is not in Europe. World War I, not World War II.
हाँ, World War I.
So World War II में Hitler started the war, and every country is like in war now. Abhi, the worst has not even happened yet. See, Hitler is like, हम लोग surrender ही नहीं करेंगे. No matter what, we will not surrender. Because he thought that if we surrender, it will be shameful. I mean, he thought it will be shameful if you surrender. So they didn't surrender. They kept on fighting and fighting. And there's this funny thing that World War II started on 1939 September 1st and ended on 1945 September 2nd.
Cut.
The war just lasted a day. So when we talk about World War II, basically it's just Hitler's final moments and Hitler's very unsuccessful attempt to get Germany back on its feet. And Hitler का बस एक ही चीज़ था that he did that made his entire dominance, his entire empire, the entire Nazi party collapse. And that was one thing that a very certain person told him not to do. I won't say what the thing is though.
Why?
Until a further question.
You're waiting for the question.
Yeah. I don't know if it's here or not though. I just studied Hitler. I have studied Hitler for a very long time. I genuinely like Hitler. I want to get the book Mein Kampf to understand him better.
I have it. I'll send it to you. So, let's get into the ruthless, the most brutal thing that had happened in the history of the mankind, which is the Holocaust. Heartbreaking in so many ways.
Yes.
Because it happened so fast. Because the World War II is happening. A lot of wars are happening within one war, right? But this episode, this happened so fast that people couldn't comprehend that this entire race was being outcasted. So let's talk about why did Hitler hate Jews so much? How did he torture Jews? And how did the Holocaust happen?
So firstly, let's rewind back to the time when Hitler was in Vienna, still looking for a career in the arts. Remember I mentioned a mayor, Karl Lueger, who was anti-Semitic. He's not the only reason this happened. Uska bas belief dala the race system mein. So the purest were the Aryans, and the worthless, the useless ones, according to them, were the Jews. And that's why he hated the Jews so much. And basically he just gave everyone a scapegoat कि Jews के वजह से ये हुआ, Jews के वजह से वो हुआ, Jews के वजह से ये हुआ, Jews के वजह से वो हुआ. And that's why he hated the Jews. Then how did the Holocaust happen? I have no idea how to frame a sentence for that. But a Holocaust is basically one of the most tragic things that happened to humankind. And I don't think you will believe this, but 6 million Jews were killed. And other than Jews, political enemies फिर भी समझ में आता है. What did you have to do with the Jews? Then they even killed, क्या बोलते हैं, people with disabilities, like wheelchair people हो गए, blind people हो गए, deaf people हो गए. They used to kill them. They used to kill Jews. I also saw a video of an Auschwitz survivor.
Who's Auschwitz?
No, Auschwitz person नहीं है. Auschwitz is a concentration camp.
Okay.
So basically her name is Eva. I don't remember the middle name, but I'm not sure. Anybody who knows about this more than me, kindly do tell me what is her real middle name. But I think it's Mengele.
Okay.
So Mengele is very important, by the way. So her name is Eva Mengele, not Eva Braun.
Yeah.
Eva Mengele Kaur.
Okay.
She's from Transylvania, Romania, and she was sent to Auschwitz. See, she has a twin sister, and that's good because she survives, but her entire family doesn't. Uska ek twin sister hai, that's all the people she's got. And so Auschwitz mein, in the twin, she was also part of the Holocaust, but she wasn't killed. Experiments gaya ho gaya tha. There is one experiment that I can't mention, but I think it's very disgusting, very inhumane, very cruel.
Yeah.
And then another.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Did you watch the video?
Yeah.
So there's another one where they tie the arms but they tie the arms to restrict the blood flow. Then they take a lot of blood from the right arm and it give minimum 5 injections in the right arm. And one time after these injections, she got ill with a high fever. So basically ये alternate days पे होता था. The experiment I can't mention happened on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the blood lab experiment happened on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I don't know what they did on Sundays, but yeah. And Pura, she said that when I was in the hospital, my sister, when I came back, she said when I was sent to the hospital because I was ill with a very high fever. And she said that the hospital was just a barrack. The doctor Mengele came and said, too bad. He didn't even examine the fever chart. Didn't even measure her fever. He just said, too bad. She's so young. She only has 2 weeks to live. इतने calmly बोला है कि ये 2 हफ्ते में मरने जा रही है. Can you imagine that? And then she is saying that I have one clear memory of those 2 weeks. Crawling on the barrack floor, since I no longer could walk, crawling on the barrack floor to reach the other end of the barrack where there is a faucet with water.
Disgusting.
And basically what 2 weeks, 3 weeks mein she healed completely. When she went back home, I mean not home, the chamber,
the concentration camp.
The Auschwitz, she went back and her sister was like, she literally was staring into space. Eva asked her twin sister's name is Miriam, by the way. Eva asked her twin sister Miriam, what happened to you? She said, I cannot talk about it. and I will not talk about it. So they didn't talk about Auschwitz until 1985. So she asked, Eva asked her sister, Miriam, do you remember when I was sent to the hospital? She was like, yeah. And then the Eva asked her sister, what happened to you when I was there? So she was under Nazi doctor supervision, and they were continuously injecting something into her hand that made her feel very sick. They don't know what was the content of those injections. And later onwards, fast forward, Miriam got married in Israel and she got pregnant. Now, when they वो baby test कर रहे हैं, her kidney में कुछ हुआ है. Kidneys, okay. And then the second child, the kidneys again started to deteriorate. Third child होने से मना किया. Eva told her sister कि don't have another child. But Miriam had a third child. And her kidneys deteriorated very much. So Eva had to give away her left kidney. You know what she said in the video? It's very heartwarming. It's very wholesome what she said. I had 2 kidneys and 1 sister. So it was an easy choice. That's what she said in the video. But then she developed cancerous, I don't remember the disease name. It was a bladder disease, and her sister died in 1993. So a few months after she died, a professor from Boston, asks her, can you bring a Nazi doctor with you? I've seen you speak. So she was like, the last project me and Miriam worked on was in 92 before she died. So she was like, okay. So she consulted a Nazi doctor. She called a Nazi doctor. And they were like, she asked him something that she had not thought she would ask. She asked him, have you ever seen a gas chamber? Did you ever walk by one? And if you have, what was happening inside? So he was standing guard outside a gas chamber, the Nazi doctor, he said. And under, there's a peephole. See, the gas chamber mein jo hua tha, there literally nakhun ke nishan hai. There's literally nail prints on the wall.
Yeah, and the gas chamber was inside the concentration camp.
Haan. So he said, I would look through a peephole, and once everybody was still, I knew they were dead. So he would just sign 1 death certificate. 1. Not the names of the people who died, not what happened to them, not the date, not even the year. It would just how many people had been murdered. I think कि जो Nazi people थे, I don't think they deserve this forgiveness that the woman gave Mengele. People who are ready to कि हाँ मैंने गलती किया है, sorry. The people who are like that, yes, they do deserve it. People who had no choice, yes, they do deserve it. But people who did it for their own good and people who did it because of their satisfaction in seeing such innocent people being killed,
Yeah, true.
they don't deserve it. I
True.
don't think they do.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And we wouldn't understand ever because there is so much unpublished data. There is so much that we don't know because I have read some horrifying stories. Should definitely watch this documentary of Netflix about Hitler. It has visual data about some imageries, not just people who are disabled, people who were transgenders, people who were even people who had different senses of sexualities. Anyone came his way that were doubting his definition of nationalism. He removed all of them one by one. And I feel it was just not just killing, it was torturous killing.
Haan.
When did he first understand that he's about to lose this war?
I'll tell you the entire story. It's connected to his death as well. So Weidling, one of the guards, is in the Führer bunker. Führer bunker means the bunker of the leader. The bunker of the leader, no? Haan. So Führer means leader and bunker, we all know what bunker means. So Führer bunker mein Weidling is there at the entrance of the Führer bunker. There's a letter, an envelope in his hand that could save thousands, maybe millions of lives.
Yeah.
And he had to deliver this to Hitler. But in his way, in his path, 3 things are of securing it. One is the security checkpoint 1, security checkpoint 2, and security checkpoint 3. So he goes through the first security checkpoint. उसमें बस ID देना है, and he says, I'm General Weidling. And then the soldier जो guard पे खड़े है at the door, he does a 2-tap code, and then the door opens. He goes through the second checkpoint. The people are very suspicious on the second checkpoint, but the guard takes his pistol and lets him go. Third checkpoint जो पहुंचता है, Bormann comes. Bormann is one of the other generals.
Yeah.
हाँ. So Bormann asks him what he wants, and so Weidling says that I have to deliver this message to the Führer. So Bormann says the Führer cannot meet with you right now. Give it to me. I will give it to him. So Weidling gets angry and he says कि I have to deliver this message. मुझे बोलने दो. So he was like, he took him down the third checkpoint. So अभी थोड़ा ही बचा है. He just has to reach Hitler, and Hitler just needs to be convinced कि just do this करके. So let's talk about Hitler's part of the bunker first. So Bormann goes to take Hitler. Bormann or some other guy, I don't know. But Goebbels also joins them. Joseph Goebbels. Or was it... it's so confusing with his general names. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think it's Goebbels only.
हाँ. So there's one more general who sees कि भाई ये दोनों एक साथ है, that doesn't do any good. So he goes outside and he's like, what do you want? And then he's like, we need everybody to be in the map room. Map room is like a meeting room. So that general, I don't know his name, that general says that let me go and get Goebbels, we'll all meet in the map room. And Bormann says that, Bormann says to Weidling, you wait in the map room and I'll get the Führer. So Hitler का ऑफिस है पहले. ऑफिस से लाउंज रूम में जाते हैं. लाउंज रूम में there is a small couch, a large thick red mat, and there's a painting of Frederick the Great, his hero, Hitler's hero, and he shares that room with Bondi, his German Shepherd. Yes, Hitler had a German Shepherd. Now he enters Hitler's bedroom. Hitler के bedroom में there is a small bed, a desk पे, and there are a few cabinets. Desk पे there is a photo of Clara Hitler. Clara is Hitler's mother. So the Bormann says to the Führer कि Weidling has something to say. He is calling you to the map room. So सब लोग map room में मिलते हैं. Map room is not anything fancy or pretty. I mean, the Führer bunker itself is moist and moldy. So map room में there is a large stony cold table, and उस पे Weidling has a map, and he says that the forces are closing in on Berlin. We should surrender. And then he hands the envelope to Hitler. Hitler is like, हम लोग कोई भी कॉस्ट पे सरेंडर नहीं करने वाले हैं. And so he leaves after saying that कि we're not going to surrender at all. And Weidling is left standing. The next day, a general goes to wake up, क्या बोलते हैं, Hitler. But doorknob खुल नहीं रहा है. The doorknob is locked. And so he calls Bormann. Bormann kicks open the door, and then they see the horrifying, mortifying scene. Hitler dead on the ground, and Eva Braun by his side. So Hitler shot himself while Eva Braun drank cyanide.
This is how they died. So I feel there are a lot of missing pieces that I still don't understand when it comes to geopolitics. Let's move on to what was India doing? Like, were any Indian leaders helping other countries or the Britain or to save Jews from any killings?
No, India ka though people have, I don't know if more people have been in contact with Hitler, but I know 2 people who have been in contact with Hitler, and they are extremely legendary people. One is the most legendary wizard of hockey, Major Dhyan Chand. And see, India team वो जो थी उस time पे, they were unbeatable, undefeatable, like Los Angeles team in 1928. They were defeated 24-0. 28-0 or 20? 24-0. Then in 1936, Japan was defeated. And then in 1932, Japan was defeated. In 1936, Berlin Olympics happened. So practice match में the most shocking thing happened. India lost to Germany in the practice match. But then धीरे धीरे करके India was getting motivated. But when they lost to Germany, they were demotivated. They were like, yeah, हो गया, like that. But then later onwards, in like धीरे धीरे करके, they reached the finals and Germany also reached the finals. India Germany का match हुआ and India won. Okay, so at that time Hitler was also watching, hoping that Germany would win. But when Germany lost, he was so mesmerized by Dhyan Chand का ये that he क्या बोलते he called them to the Olympics closing ceremony grand reception. And basically what he did was, there's a story, I don't know if this is true or not, but it's a story that कि Hitler asked Dhyan Chand, who was Lance Naik at the time for army, Indian army, Lance Naik, he gave him a German citizenship and he gave him the position of क्या field something I don't know.
Field Marshal.
Field Marshal in Germany. But Dhyan Chand humbly refused, saying that India is my country, I just want to serve my country.
Beautiful. And what was Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's involvement in this?
So, firstly, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose is the most legendary, one of the most legendary freedom fighters of war. Like even though Mahatma Gandhi said that peace aa jayega apne aap, Mahatma Gandhi said that peace, ahimsa is the only way. Netaji ke I remember two quotes. One is, freedom is not given, it's taken. ये है ना quote, हाँ. Freedom is not given, it's taken.
It's earned.
It's earned.
Yeah.
हाँ. So, and his other quote is, give me blood, I'll give you freedom. So Netaji went to Germany to seek Adolf Hitler's क्या बोलते help, since his belief was कि the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's confusing, but yeah.
No, that's the case even
yes,
now.
Enemy of my enemy is my friend. And so he जो drawing room में बैठे थे, he was sitting there. Hitler को तो जान के लिए he was scared for his life. So he sent a replica. So the replica was like, मैं हिटलर हूँ, हाथ बढ़ा के मैं हिटलर हूँ, आपको क्या चाहिए? So Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose is like, नमस्कार, मैं सुभाष हूँ, I am from Bharat, I came from India. I mean, they spoke in English, of course. Subhash Chandra Bose introduced himself and he said that I came from India, but I want to meet Hitler, I don't want to meet you. So he चौंक गया that इसको कैसे पहचान लिया? How did he recognize me? So another replica came. He also हाथ बढ़ा के, hello, मैं हिटलर हूँ, आपको क्या चाहिए? So Subhash Chandra Bose says, Namaskar, I am Subhash, I came from Bharat and I want to meet Hitler, I don't want to meet you. Now Hitler is already shocked and he's petrified कि क्या हो गया मेरा अब? And then he goes and he comes कि what happened, what do you want? ऐसे. So Netaji smiles and recognizes him easily and he's shocked again कि ये कैसे हो गया? And then he's like, because it is said that जो बाहर से मिलने आते हैं उनको पहले हाथ बढ़ाना होता है. But your replicas, they didn't know that and they were like, मैं हिटलर हूँ.
So smart. And he knew that about Hitler.
Yes.
What is the Gemlich letter about?
Yeah, see, the Gemlich letter was written by Adolf Hitler to Adolf Gemlich.
Okay.
Adolf. Ha ha.
Bye.
Horror. So he basically, the Mein Kampf is not the first major statement of Hitler about the Jews. Not Jews.
मेरे दिमाग में जूस ही चल रहा है.
No. Ha. So basically, Hitler, I don't know if this is the exact same words, but he said, once I really am in power, I will do something about the annihilation of the Jews. If that letter is out somewhere, give it to me so I can burn it.
Right in front of the photo of the Hitler.
No. I will do it. I will keep a photo of Hitler on a mannequin. उसको पीठ दिखाऊंगी. Or I will burn the mannequin itself.
Yeah, दोनों एक साथ.
हाँ.
But there are a lot of people who love Hitler.
I know.
What do you have to say about that? That is so twisted, first of all.
Like, who loves a murderer? Who फिर भी, you know, there are some people, I don't know if this is this is definitely out of context, but I want to tell something about the Mughals right now.
Okay, let's go.
People like Aurangzeb. So you think that murdering your, imprisoning your own father, murdering 6 million people, and being a dictator is a good thing?
Yeah.
Do you?
Same on you. But I think like a lot of people are blindsided, are very blinded towards the specifics of the killings. Maybe because those are the people who don't understand what being a Jew is like, and or being understanding what would have been happened. And I think when you show them those images to those people,
oh my gosh,
or watch that documentary on Netflix, you'll understand like what are the cruxes of all of these things. But we don't like Hitler. We are on the same ground here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like.
Then why are you dressed like one?
Oh no, I'm dressed like a powerful woman.
Powerful woman.
Yes.
That does not support Nazi.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm a good person. I don't know why they didn't like communism or socialism though. That's not good.
But amazing. Thank you so much for somehow revising our history chapters and also explaining and expanding on the psychology of Hitler. Is there something that you want to add on to this entire conversation?
Yeah.
Please.
National Socialistische Deutsche Arbeiterpartei.
That is the full form of
Yes.
Nazi.
In German.
This is what I never knew. अभी आपने
I'm
बताया.
not fluent in German, I just know this. I can say my name is Paridhi in French though.
So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you, Paridhi, for being a part of this.
Yes.
You are amazing, and that's why we could somehow oversimplify this complicated story and the complicated psychology that Hitler had. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please follow Paridhi. नीचे है. It's stories by Paridhi now, not I am dancer Pihu. I am dancer Pihu नहीं है. चली गई. Tata, bye bye, goodbye.
But actually, I am planning to start dance again. On Instagram, मैं dance करती हूँ. It's not like I'm not dancing.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Do follow Paridhi, me, our Spotify channel of Just Kidding with Sid. We recently started on Spotify,
Arey
and
haan.
also we just crossed 150k on each of the platforms, which means we are receiving love from your end. I'll see you next time with some other dimensions of topics and chapters and concepts that they might have never heard of. But in the next episode, we'll decode World War II.
Yep.
Let's do
You
it.
just said the theme out loud after saying that you won't know what's coming next.
Until next time, keep kidding. Cut.